And how's it going so far?
Pretty
You,
good. I feel like the office is your second home. You're always there.
you know, uh, yeah, just sometimes you got to get up and out early, and I usually come here, do some paperwork, update some stuff. Like to see what's going around the office in the morning, who's doing what, and then maybe head out in the afternoon for appointments and other activities, real estate activities.
Yeah, I'm sure it's nice being there by yourself in the quiet. So, how long have you been in
Yeah.
real estate now?
So I am just at my 7.5 year mark.
Hmm.
I got my license in March of 2017.
Oh, okay. What made you get into real estate?
Actually, I've originally had my real estate license back in 2001, in spring of 2001. And at the time, I was in the city and trying to kind of roll out on the side while working full time in the city. And I was with a rental company. So I started doing rentals in the city back in the spring, summer, fall, spring and summer 2001. And things were starting to get some traction. And then 9/11 happened.
Oh,
And that just shut down the whole market till about the end of the year, the holidays,
oh wow.
and just any momentum, any clients, anything going on, just kind of everyone just went on pause, hold. People that were moving here didn't, and then the holidays, the winter, everything that developed from what happened 9/11, and things didn't really start moving again to April, and I was just back knee deep in what I was doing there, and that 6 month disconnect, I never got really going again.
Hmm.
Um, so I knew Rich from the neighborhood.
Oh, you already knew him
No,
before
no,
you.
I didn't know him then, but through the 2010, 12, 14, I knew Rich. I saw he started. Yeah, I remember him getting his license and starting, and I was following him, and I would see him weekly. Our kids had sports together and everything, and I saw the progress he was making. We started talking more, and I decided to go back and get my license again
Nice.
in the fall of 2016, November, December, and completed the licensure course and exams and February, March, and got licensed.
So you went through the process twice.
Right. Back in 21, I think it was a 45-hour course. I did it in person. 2016, 17, did it online. It was a 75-hour course. So,
Yeah, yeah. Those are annoying.
it
I hate
kind
it.
of
I'm
doubled
not gonna
since
lie.
back in 2001. But I did it online. I was working full-time job, 6 days a week, and just did it when I had time, completed it, and then joined HomeSmart right away. I knew Rich. It was just him and like one other agent. And I knew I just wanted to be a place that would let me roll out in the time frame I was looking to and not hold me to um, certain meeting standards and everything. And I would just come in after work, weekends, and started doing open houses with him. And it just slowly and organically grew from there.
So for the viewers at home, Rich is our broker, but at the
Right.
time he was an agent.
At the time, well, he first got licensed, and then around his 2.5 year mark, 3 year mark, he opened up the first Home Smart over here. The office here on Williston Avenue. Actually, we were in a small Regis space.
Mhm.
Um, I think RXR Plaza in Uniondale. And then we opened up this office that like April, May, where we are here in Williston Park. Um, and we've been here since then. So about just over 7.5 years too, pretty much.
Yes, and I really like the Williston Park office. It's really easy to work in there. So tell us about your very first year, because I know it's the hardest, right? The first year is usually the hardest in pretty much any business. Tell us about your first year.
Yeah, so the first year, I was working a full-time job and I just knew I had to go at my own pace. And I saw it originally as like a 1 year transition. And yeah, at the end of the day, it was more of a 3 year transition. So if you think it's going to happen in a year, you just probably want to add more time to that. I just started. coming in the afternoon if anyone was here, just listening, what's going on, what people were doing. I started doing open houses with them and just getting a feel. I picked up a lead or two pretty quick and started showing homes. If I didn't have any clients, I was going out to open houses, talking
Mm,
with agents there, gaining knowledge of the market at that time in areas that I lived in and surrounding areas. And I think that's very important
yeah,
to get to know the inventory in the market.
yeah.
And so if I started in March, I really didn't even start taking out buyers till like June. April and May, I was just listening, learning, getting on Stratus, looking up data, and just doing that. Then I got a buyer that was loyal, and we just started seeing homes every weekend, and a second one. So by the end of the year of that year, which was 9 months, then I had closed two transactions
Nice.
within those 9 months, and that's might not sound like much. Then I probably had one or two carryover. So by the end of my first year, fully March, um, maybe by March, I probably closed maybe three or four more. So I probably did from March 2017 to March 2018, I probably did 6 deals or so part-time. Well, I was still working a full-time job 6 days a week with crazy hours at the time.
Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive. Six closings in your first year while working a full-time job. That's actually very impressive. And do you remember how you found those leads?
One was a referral, which is great to get
Mhm.
early on. So one was a referral from a friend, and another was from a lead generation type company that probably flowed through the brokerage. Might have been Up City at the time, if you remember Up City or Realtor.com.
Yeah, I use Realtor.com right now. They're great.
Yeah, so those were my first two deals that year that closed. And then the others that rolled into the next year was probably another referral and a couple more from Realtor Op City then. So my first few deals were from them. And then organically growing the social media presence over the next year or two, helped me get some more exposure and another referral or two business while also looking into other lead generation activities through the brokerage and on my own to kind of expand a little more in my second year. And ultimately, I was able to slowly during my second year reduce my hours, which is good. I had a flexible job with that. They knew what I was trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
Um, so I was slowly able to reduce some hours as my business
Grew.
got busier,
Mhm.
became busier. And it was probably but even after 2 years, I was like, I still needed to be working my first job there. It wasn't consistent enough. Getting that consistency and flow, you know, most people in their mind, you got to give it 2, 3 years, I think. And if you have to juggle both, two ends of a job spectrum, that's what you have to do. By the time I was nearing the end of my third year, or December 2019, right
Mhm.
before COVID, I was really just working part-time hours at that point, 2, 3 days a week,
Mhm.
and really full-time then there. And in January of 2020, I fully stopped the first job. So just under 3 years, I fully said, okay, done. 2 months later, we got shut down for 3 months, so I had nothing going on there. So the timing was a little tough and tricky there, but that was kind of that beginning cycle.
Yeah, so I was a school safety officer for 10 years, and the seventh year I started reselling sneakers. And I was working like 24/7 pretty much, because my point is that that's the only way to get out of your first job. The only way to get out of your first job is to grind as much as you can in your second job. So for the viewers listening at home, that's the only way, because that's the American dream, right? To get out of the job, to get out of the 9 to 5, and the only way to do it is the way that you did it, which is to grind as much as you can after work. You got to work after work after work, and that's the only way to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's depending on everyone's situation, for one person, I mean, sometimes having that first job could be a hindrance to growing a real estate
Yeah.
business. You're still
Yeah.
relying on that. You can't get away from a steady paycheck.
Mhm.
And then when you finally have some time off, if you're working a busy job, to stay motivated to either make calls, visit properties, meet people, be on social media, so many different things you want to do to either learn and connect with others. For some, sometimes the best thing is losing your job and
Yeah.
going 100% in. There's no plan B, there's no option, and
Yep.
you almost have to have that mindset
Yeah.
a little bit to just say, I'm all in.
Mhm.
Real estate, straddling the fence for too long, it just most people will fizzle out or not get the traction they want, not get it quick enough, soon enough, and slowly, they started with high hopes and it just kind of slows down, goes down, and a year or two into it, and they're not really active at all anymore.
Yep, that's how it is. One of my favorite sayings is when one door closes, another door opens. So, for those of
True.
you that maybe lost your job, you never know what's going to happen. So, you just don't give up. So Ken, walk us through a normal day in your shoes. What time do you wake up? Coffee or tea? Walk us through a normal day.
Yeah, there's really no normal day in real estate. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
It depends. Some days you might have a 9 a.m. appointment, a home inspection, a closing at 11. So you always, depends on what you have already, scheduled for that day. A day where maybe I don't have any appointments set up, I'm still up early. I'm usually up by 6 a.m. Little coffee, like you said, and me time for the first half hour. Um, then
Regular
I'll probably
coffee?
just yeah, I'm a regular coffee guy. I like my French vanilla
I love French vanilla, man. I love French.
yeah, and I just make it at home, nothing fancy. I don't
No
need to go
Starbucks.
out, yeah, and then I'll usually log on and I like to check the data from the previous day on Stratus, new listings, on the contracts, knowing what's going on behind the scenes, kind of, and looking through the data that we have access to is important. I look for any new listings in the morning that came out that might match what my buyers are looking for. They get emails every morning. If I see something really nice, I send them a little, hey, check out today's property. Slowly, organically, usually get ready and I'll come into the office, try to be here by 9ish, usually for a few hours to stay on top of whatever I need to stay on top of. With updating my systems and everything, the dashboards of the different companies I work with, lead generation companies. Follow up is always part of your day. And, um, I try to have a kind of a template every day and then go as things adjust, calls come in, emails, texts, go about the day. But I'm doing a little better. Time blocking, I think, is important right now. Hey, just take an hour to do this, take an hour. It's so easy to get pulled in different directions and distracted. You focus on doing this, and your call rings. And then next thing you know, you're running out for an appointment or doing something. So it's important to stay focused and get have a good idea of what you want to accomplish each day. So usually at night, I'll kind of have a checklist of some of the things I want to get to right away in the morning.
Yeah, that's very smart. I usually have like a mental checklist in my head of what I want to do the next morning. So I know you have a computer at home. What motivates you to come into the office if you have a computer at home?
Um, what just I think it's fun to get out and about sometimes. I never really worked remote. My whole career was get up, get dressed, commute. I
Hmm.
worked in the city for 20 years.
Hmm.
And so there's something about just getting up, having your coffee, showering, getting dressed, getting in your car and going someplace, an office, coffee shop, somewhere, and maybe setting up. I think it helps set the mindset a little bit. It helps get you a little more focused. Um, and then you do what you have to. And then usually by noon one, I'm usually not here after that because only so much happens in the office. You have to be out there meeting people. So depending whether there's properties I want to see and maybe view for my clients, if I do have any appointments, I'll go about that in the afternoon. And also, get in some of me time that I need to maybe do for myself during that time period because we tend to work 7 days a week, on and
Yep.
off, different hours, days. So you mix in some personal stuff you have to get done as well, whether it's taking the car in for an oil change, going food shopping, going to the gym,
Yep.
whatever else. So all the while you have your phone and your laptop nearby, so you're always ready to work.
So do you work 7 days a week or do you take the weekends off?
I don't take really. I just see real estate not so much like a job. Like, okay, I'm taking off today.
A lifestyle?
Because if your phone rings, you're gonna
You're
look
gonna
at it
take
and
it
pick
off.
it up. If a client calls you, hey Ken, what's going on with this? You're gonna respond. So you might not have a full day of appointments. You might not spend 4 hours on the phone, but you're always doing something, I think. Whether it's just reactive to calls, texts, emails coming in, and you're just being responsive to that. And it's just, to me, I really call real estate more of a lifestyle than
Yeah.
a job that you punch in and out of and say,
Yep.
taking a day off. If I go away a weekend or a day and you have your phone,
Hmm.
still gonna, be able to connect with any clients I'm working with and interact with anyone that needs me.
You're always on the clock. What is your favorite
Pretty
thing about
much.
being a realtor?
Favorite thing is I like helping people. And then truth at the end of the day is we help people, and usually we're helping people in tough situations. A home buyer, maybe they're renting a home and the owner's selling it and they need to find a place and it's time to buy. First time buying anything is could be a difficult process, or for some right now this current market. So you're helping people get to the next step, the next level. Same with sellers. A lot of the listings we get, someone's been living in the home 20, 30, 40 years. They've been there. The home is just filled with stuff they don't know where to start. So we're helping them transition and prepare the home to get ready to sell and help them get to the next step of their journey. So I see it as a business. We're in the business of helping people, and we usually them in some type of difficult situation they need help with. Moving under the best circumstances is still one of life's most stressful top five things. So just
Yep.
whether you move across the street, across the country,
Yep.
relocating anywhere else, it's stressful, and someone to help coordinate every aspect of that, I think is vital.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really big change. Um, yeah, I definitely agree. So what is the worst thing about being a realtor? Your least favorite thing about being a
Well,
realtor?
I say one of my favorite things is you get to meet a lot of people, whether they're buying or selling. The goal is to meet people, see how you can best help them. One of the least favorite things is also you get to meet a lot of people and you work with a lot of people. And over time, look, it's you're dealing with emotions, finances, you're dealing with a lot of moving pieces that
Egos.
might get most people or have most people act out a character at some point, and they're
Yeah.
not who they are during this process normally. I don't know. And you're dealing with just a whole lot of emotions going on through different people, and you're dealing with the people around them that have all given them advice, this and that. And there's so many moving pieces to the deal and the parties involved that just sometimes that could not be the best, especially if there's just a lack of communication, or there's also, you could say, a lot of clients, getting the truth out of them can take time. You have to ask the right questions and they have to feel comfortable to tell you what's really going on. And so that balance could be tough.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of egos involved. And like for the viewers
Many
at home,
egos.
real estate is a people business. If you're a super shy, super introverted person who doesn't like people, who doesn't like talking, it might not be the job for you, right?
Yeah, that probably not. I don't think you have to be a type A center of attention type person. That's certainly not me. But you have to be someone that wants to help people, I
Yeah.
believe, and genuinely care about the end result for them. At the end of the day, it's about your client's goals and needs, and and everything that is your goal and need for that is not even secondary. It's way down the line, and just focus on your client's needs. And at the end, there's no better feeling than an appreciative client, whether they're buying or selling, and they thank you and hug you. And it's feeling at the end you get at a closing, whether it's a
Yeah.
hug, smile, a picture, and staying in touch. You could really go from strangers when you first meet to, you just help them through one of life's toughest transitions, and you're kind of like friends and family and stay in touch, hopefully. Those are the best and most ideal situations
Yes,
at the
yes.
end.
So there are basically two types: the clients that you never speak to again, and the clients that you speak to
And
on a
some it's just mostly transactional. Some,
yeah.
hey, we need someone to help, boom, boom. You can stay in touch. And, some over time may not go that way, but you help them when they needed it. And that's important.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think about teams? Like I'm on the cost scout team. What do you think about teams? Because some people say teams are a scam. What do you think about teams?
Yeah, I think teams have definitely proliferated and grown over the last 3 to 6 years, 3 to 5 years. Over the last few years, you're hearing a lot more teams within the brokerage. Um, I am a team lead of a team here at HomeSmart. You know a few agents, and it really depends on the team lead and how it's structured. I think for a new agent coming in,
Hmm.
you need something, whether it's a
Yes.
team lead or a mentor or a coach, and those all are different things we could break down. Working with a coach, a mentor, or being on a team, I think it's vital for anyone that's serious. You got to then go through what the splits, fees, how they break it down,
Hmm.
and honest, open communication is important, and the ability to work together with whoever your coach, mentor, or team lead is important. Your success rate will go up dramatically if you spend at least 6 months to a year working with a coach, mentor, at least your first 3 to 6 transactions. And it depends what the coach, mentor, or lead is providing.
Yes.
Leads are the lifeblood. You learn in this business by doing.
Hmm.
You could sit in the office and listen to everyone. You could read all the articles and go through all the data. But if you're not out there doing and writing offers and learning all the ways things could go sideways, up, down, and every other way, that's how you learn and grow. And if you're not out there doing it, someone joins a team. Yes, it usually, what's the splits? Everyone gets involved in that. Look, 50% of something's better than 100% of nothing. We've heard that before. Whatever your split is, if you could be active on 5, 6 deals in the first 6 months versus, and at that split versus maybe one deal, you finally find an associate working with you, you're going to learn 6 times the amount on the other deals, whether you close them or not, versus one. And someone working with a team and leads at the end of the year will have so much more experience than someone that's just coming and going on their own and with no guidance and maybe only work with a few people.
Yeah,
Everyone's different though, and every brokerage, team, lead, mentor, and person and situation is different. So there's no one size fits all.
yeah, I strongly agree. I'm still in my first year, and from my experience, teams are very, very important for the first year in particular. I would even say even more important than a mentor. So, yeah, I think that for the newer agents, the people listening, try to join a team in your first year for sure. So,
And absorb as much as you can. Just take it in. You're learning on the job, and you can't substitute for that.
yeah, just be a sponge. So, Ken, do you do commercial real estate too, or only residential?
I haven't done commercial really, unless like a multi-family home, 2, 3 unit, but commercial just doesn't. It's not why I got into real estate. I just like more of the person people aspect, home buyers and home sellers, than the business commercial aspect of a business and renting space or purchasing, going along those routes. I think it's two different um, types of real estate, two different models, and I'm more on the residential side, and that's probably where I prefer and will stay.
Yeah, I heard that commercial is way more competitive.
Yeah, I imagine, especially, when I think commercial, I think Manhattan, office buildings, storefronts. That's, to me, and just I think commercial has been turned upside down even more than residential over the last few years since
Mm.
COVID. and it doesn't have the same coming from a place of help to a person or a family, that same attribute commercial as residential does. And that's what I really like about residential.
Yeah, it's a lot less intimate. Ken, should people today buy or rent?
It depends on their situation. If they, it depends. Are you looking, what are your goals and needs personally? It's really independent. Do I think now's a good time to buy? For some people, it's a great time. For some, it might not be. It really depends on your own personal situation, finances, where you want to be in 3, 5 years. I mean, if you're looking to buy in a place, I wouldn't buy anything in a place that to live in unless I feel I'm going to be there at least 5+ years.
Mm.
Anything can change at any time, and you might get a new job offer or something and move. But if you're looking at more than a 3-year window, I would look to buy first if you can. If not, then rent. So I do think owning's better than renting if it makes financial sense and you can afford something you like.
Yeah, well,
Gives
the
you
thing is
more.
that's a big if because nowadays most people can't even afford to buy, which is really sad. What do you think about home prices? Do you think they're going to drop anytime soon?
I don't. I don't. Rates right now are starting to tick down. We had the interest rate reduction earlier. And I think as the rates go down, I think more buyers will enter the market than homes will enter the market, new listings. And if more buyers come in and the inventory still remains where it is, prices will probably go up again.
Yeah.
If we get a balance of homes and buyers, then they might just trend level. If we get a huge influx of homes over what comes in through buyers, then we might see a price drop. I don't know anyone predicting or thinking that more homes are going to come on the market in the next 6, 12, 18 months than buyers will enter the market.
Yep, it's all about supply and demand. And it is kind of sad to watch because a lot of people can't buy a home. And even me, like I have a co-op, but I do want a single family home one day. So it's kind of
Sure.
sad to see all the prices just keep skyrocketing. Ken, where do you get your leads from?
As many sources as possible. You can never have enough, so you always want to be researching new ones.
Mm.
Not that you want to throw money at a ton of things. And I think in the beginning, some people throw money out there. I think in the beginning, you want to try to work as much with organic leads or free leads, whether it's coming from a team and with a lower split. It depends on your situation. Most people getting started in real estate, money's tight at the time you're making a transition.
Yep.
And so there are free sites that your brokerage will be able to point you to, and you can register for them. It's a lot tougher right now than it was 5, 6 years ago because of the surge of agents and what took place after, since COVID, since the summer of 2020. Organic, just networking. I go to a lot of networking events. You've seen me out, or
Yep.
if you heard, and that's something I did a lot in the beginning. COVID kind of shut down networking for 12, 18 months. I missed
Yep.
it. But over the last 2+ years, it's kind of back in full um, full speed ahead with that. So I'm back out networking, social media.
Hmm.
Find your voice on social media or find the right platform for you. And not that you want to just focus on being a content creator, but you have to be on social media right now, trying to connect with people. Other sites, like in Op City, there's referral sites. The leads come in free. Larger, you pay a referral fee. Then there's other sites like a Zillow, you can pay upfront for leads, and there's no referral fee on the back end. Every agent has their opinion on whether they want to pay for Zillow leads. It can be expensive. So
Yeah.
usually a starting out agent's not ready to start throwing a lot of money at that, but it is something I think every agent should look to grow into. It's a business. I look at it as that, and to grow business, you have to spend money on your business and
Yep.
invest in your business. So really don't look at, think of it more as an entrepreneurial business pursuit. And what business doesn't spend money on marketing, advertising, product development, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, so I actually did have a phone call with Zillow some months ago, and based on my research and based on the phone call, they are extremely effective, but they're also ridiculously expensive. Some of the zip codes are 2, 3K a month, so
Yeah.
you might get your money back, but it's really expensive at the same time.
I wouldn't go about spending money until you had yourself down, um, kind of not a system in place, but some type of work structure in place for these leads coming in. And that's why I think starting on a team that provides leads at first, you're not paying out of pocket for them. You're paying a back end split,
Yep,
whatever. But again, you're learning on the job. They're providing leads, guidance. They'll help you write the offers, make the offers. So much happens after once a buyer is interested in a home
yep.
that most agents have no clue until it gets to that. We open doors, we see homes. Everything happens after that, and how you handle the offer, the submission, the follow up, the inspection, the appraisal, all that stuff. The more you do, the stronger you'll get and better able to manage that. But you really want someone close by when you're doing those steps in the first few deals.
Yes, I strongly agree. Ken, do you view other realtors as competition?
I don't. I've said this from day one. I'm just as likely to do a deal with you, Christian. You're here at HomeSmart.
Mhm.
Even if you could be on my team, you could be at HomeSmart, you could be another brokerage. We're just as likely to do a deal. Um, I see everyone's a colleague. If you have a buyer for my listing, bring them. Let's do a deal together. And likewise, if I have a buyer, and I'm just as likely to bring a buyer to an agent's open house with ABC Company as I am here. So, um, yeah, I just see everyone as colleagues that I hope to do business with at some
Yes,
point.
because everyone is an opportunity. So, Ken, do you prefer to work with buyers or sellers?
Um, in the beginning, I think you'll find yourself working with more buyers. I think buyer leads are just more plentiful than seller leads. And I really enjoy what I fell in love with in the beginning is that helping a first time home buyer get to purchase their first home. And that's a great feeling. And I really enjoyed that. As my business grew, I started doing more seller leads, and now I'd say I'm more seller oriented than buyer oriented. If I have buyers, more of my team agents work that because I think that's the best way to learn the business
Yes.
out there with your buyers, seeing homes, showing homes, writing offers. And so right now, I'd say I'm more seller oriented, probably like a 75-25 seller oriented. Whether I like that more or not depends on the client. If you're a good client and a good person, I'm going to love working with you. And, some sellers can be difficult in their own right over certain things, and buyers can be difficult. And it just depends on the relationship you establish with each. And one thing I learned over time is, we might not be the right agent for every buyer or seller, or they might not be the right client for us, and that's okay. And maybe you can refer them to someone you think might be a better match as you grow in this business. You just realize you have to focus on the clients that I think you'll work best with and are open to what you have to offer them service
Yes.
wise.
The character matters more than whether the buyer or seller. Ken,
Absolutely. I've learned in the last few years it's okay to walk away from a client.
yes.
No agent should be lied, not, we're in it together. And if the client's not giving you that win together, working to the same goal end, then you probably should separate and they should find a different person.
Your
So I
mental, your
equally enjoy working with everyone as long as they're good people, we're going to get it done.
yeah, the inner peace comes first. Ken, how will the NAR lawsuit settlement affect realtors and buyers today?
If you ask 10 real estate agents or watch 10 or read 10 news articles, you're going to hear 10 different opinions.
Yep.
I think what's happening is great. I think some of these conversations have been a long time coming. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to speak with more buyers and sellers. Ultimately, I think it's a good thing. Uh, Buyers going to buyer agents dropping out. I don't see some of these um, theories people are putting out there, what's going to happen to real estate agents or real estate in general. I think if you're prepared for what's happening and you're following what's taking place and you're going and reviewing the new forms and can explain it to your clients the proper way, I think those are good conversations to have. And I think ultimately it should benefit agents and buyers and sellers if done right.
Yes, I agree with that. Ken, do you have any tips for new agents?
New agents, you definitely want to work with someone, whether you join a team, have a mentor at the office. You have to have someone you can call and ask the question, no matter what the question is.
Yeah,
As you're working questions, small, medium, big, is this a silly question? There's no silly questions. You
yeah,
need to have someone. Otherwise, because questions are going to come up as you look to do anything, whether it's looking up properties, setting up showings, schedules, going on property tours. It's vital to have someone um, that you could go to. So whoever that is, the broker, an in-house mentor or agent there, team lead or outside mentor. I think coaching in this business, if you find the right person, people, and situation, will make it'll increase our retention rate as agents. 87% are no longer. I think that's the figure after within 5 years, 80% who got licensed are no longer active. That's a
wow.
pretty big failure rate. And
Yeah,
most of them would just get it and try to just do it on their own.
yeah.
And not many businesses, you just start and do it all on your own, especially if you're coming in with not much more knowledge than the exams and the course prep.
Yeah, the exams don't do too much justification because the field is a different thing
Real
from the
life, yeah.
exam.
Exams is the
The
technical
books, the
terms and
books,
this
yeah.
and that and book stuff, but real life stuff, people stuff, and all the scenarios that are going to come from that you just got to learn in person.
The exams and the papers are more for vocabulary, I would say, and then everything else you got to learn on the field, and not everything's on Google. Ken, where can people find you?
They can find me right here at the Williston Park office, but you can reach me. My number, 917-828-1857. Again, my phone's never too far away. Text calls, DMs. You can find me on Facebook, business page, Long Island First Time Home Buyer. Also just Ken Olson on Facebook, Ken underscore the Run LI team on Instagram. Also LinkedIn. Not on TikTok yet, though. So we'll see. Might roll out TikTok. We're in the fourth quarter this year, so maybe I'll start playing around on TikTok. But Facebook, Instagram, and my phone. You also have my email, ken.olson70@gmail.com. Keep it basic. And look for me on social media and out in the field.
Yeah, I'll be sure to drop the links below. Ken, it was great talking to you,
Awesome.
man.
Christian, I appreciate it. I think you're doing a great job. I think this is a great initiative. And I think you're going to grow and learn a lot from doing this. I think you're on a great team with Julie and Dan.
Yes,
And hopefully things progress there. I'm always here and available, and we have good other agents and support. And just be present, be around, keep
yes.
throwing yourself into it. And you're going to be here a while.
Thanks a lot, Ken. It was
All right.
great.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Take
Have
care.
a great day.
You too.